We'll have a, public hearing on the number of petitions filed by the Greenbrier County Building Code official. Stephen, I'll pretty much turn it over to you and we'll go down the list as you've got them in order.
All right. I wanted to say first that we published a class 2 legal notice, the Daily News, April 8th and 15th, and the Mountain Messenger, April 4th and the 11th. I'll be presenting from the Greenbrier County Planning and Permits Department. Is everyone else who plans to speak signed in, sign-in sheet? I believe so.
When did you say you did the Mountain Messenger one?
Mountain Messenger was April 4th and the 11th. I believe the last time we did this, there was a swearing in where I had to swear in. I believe that the court reporter did that.
Yes, I can do that.
There's an affidavit here where I'm the only one that has to do that. So, where I've already signed, dated, so.
Would you like
She
to
can
swear
be
him
him.
in?
Yeah.
Or do you have that paperwork?
Okay,
It's okay.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. All right, moving on. The first on the docket is 1206/258 Herms Mill Road. E911 has made this process kind of difficult where addresses have been changing. Luckily, parcel numbers haven't. Our first complaint against this one was November of 2023. This was occupied by squatters. The owner was absent. The septic was creating a muddy mess in the front yard. The owner was unable to be served. The structure was condemned and placarded. The squatters left on their own. The structure was boarded up to prevent the problem from getting worse, because every time you flush the toilet, it come right out into the yard. The health department was involved, but they cannot issue a permit to remediate a septic system if the owner is not involved. They won't issue a permit to a squatter septic system. So we had no choice but to board up the structure. The current condition, it's been sat vacant and boarded up. The porches are separating from the structure. And it's still standing. The petition was sent to where the tax bill goes now, which is where the structure is, which doesn't make sense. So I also sent it to the address where I originally condemned it, which is the owner's family member. That person reached out and said, I'm not involved, don't send me anything anymore, but I had to, just for due diligence. The property is currently subject to a tax sale, and the reason why it's necessary to issue a demolition order is that the owner is absent, uncooperative, and if they start using it as, if anyone starts using it as a structure again, the septic is going to be right there in the front yard again. And it's just an unacceptable situation. You drive by it and the smell was just atrocious. And luckily it's all dried up. I believe somebody at some point put some lime on it. I don't know who did that. Well, okay. And just, it's a public hazard and a public nuisance due to the failed septic system and just the dilapidated nature of the structure. The current photo is on the front of the packet, along with the petitions, notice of hearing, certificate of service, the original condemnation order. You guys have any questions of me?
No, you've done all your work on this, as far as I can tell.
understand there's a stream close by.
Yes, sir. Right at the bottom of the hill is, I would say, less than 100 yards, maybe 50 yards away down the road. Is the Hearn Mill Covered Bridge, which is a tourist spot. People, many times you drive through there and there's people parked on the sides taking pictures off the bridge. And it's just up the hill.
Is there anyone here who wants to speak on this property?
So we have Heather and Eddie Hanna listed. If you want to speak,
Just about the stuff that we dealt with from living down there, it was criminal activity after criminal activity. One time, at one point, they came out and it was by a convicted felon. My son was sitting in his car in our driveway. And the guy came out and stared my son down, and then he began to, rack his shotgun and look at my son. And I mean, we put up with that for multiple years.
There's been US Marshals there because there's been fugitives.
Multiple law
Busted down the
enforcement calls.
doors to go in and get people. There's been drug deals, the cooking of meth. There's been, numerous overdoses that have taken place right in our front yard and driveway.
Our daughter wouldn't even sleep in her own bedroom for 2 years because she was so worried that they were going to come back to our house.
You live in the neighboring,
You're right beside it.
right beside it.
We couldn't even sit outside because of the smell. It was awful. It was unhealthy. And at any given minute, they can just come back in and do a thing. That's what I worry about.
I would like to add that they're basically right in an inconvenient spot where people on one side go out Fort Springs Pike and people on the other side go out to Buckwood Mill Road Way. So it's just in an inconvenient spot that doesn't drive a lot.
So just for my edification, we never have been able to make contact with the supposed property owner.
The owner has never reached back out to the office. I do believe.
I spoke with her on several occasions, but she is unwilling to do anything to try to correct the problems. And she was just letting anybody and everybody come in there and kill the place.
Even after the place was condemned, they came into the driveway and tore the signs off. They told us that that they had permission to move in. And then law enforcement officers came and ran them off. Well, they in turn pulled into our driveway and ended up getting arrested in our driveway, and their drug paraphernalia, their meth, everything was in our driveway. So I mean, it's,
The girl they pulled out of the car was hiding meth in her pants. As the cop was trying to put her in handcuffs.
Law enforcement cleared the structure before we boarded it up. Just because they cleared, probably why they were out there that time.
yeah.
Okay, do you wanna read the order demolition, or is there any need to do that?
the proposed order.
Proposed order?
I believe in the petition, just to read the section 8 of the petition, it rehashes section 7-1-3 KK of the West Virginia Code, which grants authority to the county commissioners to eliminate hazards to public health and to abate a public nuisance as follows. In addition to all other powers and duties now conferred by law upon county commissioners, commission are hereby authorized to enact ordinances, issue orders, and take other appropriate and necessary actions for the elimination of hazards to public health and safety, and to abate or cause to be abated anything which the commission determines to be a public nuisance. As your code official, I believe this.
Oh, yeah, I'm fine with that. I was just talking about this order of demolition.
I'll make a motion to approve the petition under 7-1-3 KK for parcel ID 9-17-17.1.
Okay.
Nine. Code 7-1-3 KK.
It's on your.
May I ask who was making that motion?
Commissioner Richie Holiday.
Thank you.
Okay, so
And
leave,
did you get the parcel ID? It's
Yeah.
the first one listed.
Yeah.
All right. So what,
Is there anyone else here to address this partial?
They've not signed in.
Your motion was to condemn that, right?
No, the motion was to allow the demolition,
Okay.
or I'm sorry, to approve the petition for demolition.
okay, we have a motion on the table to approve the demolition of the property. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it's unanimous.
Ms. Court Reporter, did you get my motion?
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
All right, Stephen, go ahead to the next one.
Yes, sir. So the next one, if you don't mind looking at the next two at the same time, and you can see from the map that they are right next to each other. Right behind the food line in White Sulphur.
Is that DLAP 4 and 5 or 3
This
and
is-
4?
Yes, Stephen, just say, you guys don't have to hang around. If you're done everything, if you want to go, you're welcome to go.
Oh, he's gonna go that way.
You can go either door, either door.
Give him the back door side.
Which numbers are these, Stephen?
2 and 3, it's 131 and 141 Harmon Road. We might have gotten a little
It's stuff on mine.
mixed up.
3 and 4.
3 and 4 on the agenda.
Here's 3 and 4.
Okay, well, then it'll be 3 and 4 on the agenda. 131 and 141 Harmon Dean Road. The one is a single wide trailer. The other one's just a single family dwelling with an accessory structure out back. In both of those packets, well, the first complaint was in February of 2025. The property was occupied by relatives of the deceased with permission of the administratrix of the estate. The owner passed away in November of 2005. The estate opened in December 2005, and it's still open with no action. There's no utilities to the property. The power was recently cut off by the power company, or cut from the pole from the power company, which is typically evidence of them trying to steal power. It's unsecured, severely dilapidated. The administratrix who's paying taxes and who got the condemnation letter is unwilling to remediate the dilapidated structures, evident by the current condition versus the condition when it was originally condemned. If you flip in your packet to the condemnation letter, you can see it's closer to the end there. The pictures of when it was originally condemned is just an unsecured structure versus what it looks like now.
Is the now pictures is the one where it's painted all up? with
Yes,
The,
the front picture with the map is the current condition of the property. It's just been completely trashed. And keep in mind, this is catty corner to some apartments that are actually in the city limits of White Sulphur. And it's right smack dab in the neighborhood, Hamilton Addition, Armandine, it's all fairly high dense area. The public hazard is just the unsecured nature of the building. There's been quite a bit of law enforcement activity there. Just evidence of squatters, the dilapidation and being unsecured, children can go into it. The harbor for vagrant and attractive nuisance for children, that's the public hazard of the structures.
looks like on the current photograph, the top right one, it's like half of the siding's missing off the trailer. The
Yes, sir.
stud beams are showing.
Yeah, it was necessary to get a couple pictures of that just to show and this is all standing on Armandine Road.
Trash all around the place. Okay.
Yes, sir. So it's the reason why I'm asking for the demolition order is legal owner is deceased. And the estate's been open for 20+ years with no action.
Is there a speaker here for this properties?
Yes.
Now on the trailer one, yes, it needs to get got out of there, but I have no, resources to do so. Because I had, they come in there and stripped my wires out, took my siding off.
I'm sorry, could you state your name?
Melissa Lockhart.
She's the
I'm the
administrator.
administrator, the executive of the state. I've known survivor of my grandmother.
Okay.
And then I have 3 kids is why I haven't, served the state because well, they really wasn't mindful of it at this time. My youngest one's, coming of age, to be something to be like, but, that, like, I don't, I guess if, whoever come in, they strip my copper wires, copper plates, starting off, make $1, I suppose, I don't know, I left out of there, I can't remember when it was, I lived there for a while, and then, when we left, and I was over and I hadn't been able to get back over to the property, just they come in and stolen everything, tore the whole entire place up. Now, I told him back then, I had no problem with removal of that trailer because it needed so. I couldn't do nothing with it. It's gone. But like I said, I have no money at the moment. Right now, I'm up to 8 hours. I'm working because of my disability. So that one, okay, but my house, it is wheelchair accessible. I have the windows, everything boarded up. The roof's good. At one time, I don't know who it was, but yes, they took the meter out of the power thing. Somebody was in there stealing power. That was before my daughter come over there. My daughter was there for a little while trying to clean it up, but she's been gone a year almost, I guess. She got mixed up in the wrong place. But she come back January last year. My mother passed away. Now she's back down in rehab. I tried to give her a roof over her head because she had nowhere to go. And she couldn't, now she's back over in rehab, but anyway, and staying there. But the house is still, I can go in and fix a few things, get the power back on, the water on, all that stuff when I'm able. And now the back structure behind that house, they went in and stripped it all out. It's almost fallen down. They took the wood out of it, pipes out of it, the walls out of it. And then there's a cellar that's cement, everything's wrong with it, it's weeds around it. As you can see, one where the house is. But that one property, the lot 12, it's 12, sorry, not 12, 14, 16. I think it's lot 12 is where that trailer is. And then 14, and then I have 16 also on the side of it. And one time it had, I got it for, I got it took out. But, in the last couple of years, I haven't been able to do nothing with it. And, like I said, people come in there and they done stole the siding out my trailer. And I mean, that's how bad it's getting. Now that, I don't know how to go about getting it done. And then it says it's put a lien on my property. Well, it's not my fault I had vagrants in there stealing all my stuff. Well, you're not allowed to leave your property and go out of state or go out of town and come back and it's gone and it's your fault. But what my deal is, he told me they was great to do it at one time. And then,
Right up.
you know, now it's coming up with me to do it. Cause I told him a year or 2 years, whatever it was, about that trailer, it was gone.
Is there anyone living in the house at 141 Harmon?
141's a trailer, I think. I don't know what the house is. No, my plans were to get it fixed and move back in there. Cause right now I'm at my mother's and I have 3 flights of steps to go up and down and I can't do it. Like I said, I'm down in 8 hours, maybe a week that I'm working, if I'm able to even get to that. I gotta have surgery done, and once that's done, I plan on going back to it. I mean, roof ain't falling in, floors ain't falling in. I had it boarded up. I've done put 5 doors on that house.
And the picture at the top of the first page of the presentation is its current condition right now, Stephen.
I haven't been over there. It looks like people just put a bunch of crap in the yard.
When do you intend to move back?
As soon as I'm able, when I'm gonna get a whole leg replacement. Just about right now, I got a blood clot behind my leg right here. I gotta get work on it. Working my heart too fast.
How long has this structure been uninhabited?
Well, I lived in it up to about 3 years ago. And I have the windows boarded up and all that, and my daughter, like I said, she was staying there, but then she got her boyfriend, we went around at the house and now she's where she needs to be. But the house is not that bad. It's got, weeds around it. I can't find the picture now. But the before and the after, the trailer, yes, it's gone. It's bad. Somebody done stole every piece of it. I guess maybe they could build them another house. Well, I might know. There is a back structure in behind that house, that it was a house, it was a 1 bedroom, 1 bath, kitchen, living room. They done stole everything out. Sister lived there till a while ago. But there was a house, they did have the taxes separate, but I had it as a storage building, instead of a house, and they've done tore it down to hardly studs. Hold it up. Now it needs took down and the trailer needs took down, but the house in the cellar does not. The cellar's, brick, concrete blocks. That little itty bitty building.
Is the front door of the house open now?
Yes, and when I was out there posting the demo petition on the house, you could hardly stand in front of the door because of the smell of what the vagrants have left in there.
See, I haven't been over there.
In there?
No, and I don't go in these places. Unless there's an owner that asks me to go in and it's safe, which does not happen.
So we, forgive me for speaking out of turn,
No, you
Mr.
did.
President. We have the option to either put a lien on the property or to not put a lien on the property. What we have done in the past is if the owner voluntarily allows for the demolition, then we do not put a lien on the property. Is that correct, Mr. Simmons?
Yes.
Okay. The trailer, of course, in my opinion, is unsafe, unsightly, and invites
It's terrible.
unwanted guests. The home in its current condition, in my opinion, is, to me, looks unsafe, unsightly. Vagrants have been in it. Currently, there's nothing to prevent them from going back in there. So as I said, we have the option to either put the lien on the property or to not put a lien on the property. If you voluntarily give us permission to do the demolition, I would put in my motion that we not put a lien on the property. So would you sign a would you voluntarily or give us permission to do the demolition on the trailer?
Yeah, on the trailer.
Okay, and then but you would,
Sorry, now about the house, Sarah, my son's at work, I asked him to come and get, he's the responsible one. And I even told him, he could put in something, a trailer, double wide, tiny house, a shed, something in there, build one. And he didn't answer me on it, because it'd be cheaper for me to fix the house than I don't know, I don't know. I don't care. It's awful. And there is drug use because I had this, my daughter's in rehab.
so our major concern with it is it's close to another neighborhood where there are children that play on the streets, and God forbid one of them get in there and get stuck with a needle or get exposed to meth or something like that, and then we have a dead kid on our hands.
Yeah.
That is not what we want, and I'm sure that's not what you want.
No, I don't want a $20,000 lien either.
Okay. So again, if you will voluntarily give us permission to do the demolition, it would be in my motion to not place a lien on the property, and Mr. Simmons can make sure that happens.
That's just a suggestion. I mean, but it still could happen.
If it's in my motion to not put a lien on the property, there will not be a lien put on the property.
Oh,
She won't.
If you voluntarily give us permission to do the demolition.
The reason I didn't drive forward with this earlier is because it's similar to now where she's all about the trailer. But if I tore that trailer down and mobilized our contractor there and left that house, the neighborhood would
We would not be,
very angry.
we would not be doing our due diligence.
Exactly. So that's why we're here right now.
that would take everything.
The house and the trailer would be gone. Yes,
What about the other two buildings?
Everything.
everything on the
There
property.
would be nothing left on the property but dirt and grass.
Grass.
And whatever utility hookups are present.
The utility
There's
hookups
water,
would be
gas
taken.
hookup all over.
That would be left.
They would be disconnected from the main line, but they wouldn't be tore out of the ground. The only thing but nothing will be left on the property except a good tree or something like that that might be left, but the structures, everything will be taken out down to the dirt.
All the trash and everything.
So, you have any other comments? William?
Are you're agreeing to it?
Yeah, that it'd probably be easier for my son to do that, put something there than have,
Bring something in new.
yeah.
And to be honest with you, when the squatters come by and see it all gone, they'll stop driving by it. And then,
And it'll
Whatever your
not leave
son
a place
puts
to
in.
hide, shoot up and die.
right, yeah.
So you want to repeat your motion?
I will.
As
Do you
for
have-
both properties,
Do you
right?
have something that she can sign today
Yes. After this hearing, I can,
as soon as this hearing's done?
yes.
And you do agree with that, with demolition of both of the properties?
Yeah, as long as I'm stuck with big old lien there.
Yes.
So I'll make a,
Appreciate that. Thank you.
this is Commissioner Richie Holiday for our court reporter. I'll make a motion to approve the petition for demolition of 131 and 141 Harmon Dean Road, White Sulphur Springs, with the permission of the administratrix of the estate of Mrs.
What's your name?
Anymore.
Betty Moore.
Betty Moore. The administratrix is Mrs. Melissa Lockhart, correct? There will not be a lien placed upon the property because Mrs. Lockhart has agreed to voluntarily sign the petition for demolition.
Okay. If there's no further comment from the commission, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Stephen will get you the other paperwork to sign.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
There's been a couple people over in that trailer.
Yeah.
We don't need any more of that.
All right, the next one, 2421 Keepster Road.
Mhm.
This one, this property was originally stopped work by my predecessor in July of 2021. In May of 2023, I condemned it and gave it 90 days to bring it into compliance by applying for a permit because it is in the floodplain, as you can see by the map. It's fairly close to the river. They had appealed to the floodplain appeal board that their improvements was not a substantial improvement to the property, which triggers 100% compliance with the floodplain ordinance. Their appeal was denied. They wanted to just continue with the structure as is, but it's not at the right height. It was built with substandard components, substandard techniques. It's just not right. So their appeal was denied by the floodplain appeal board. I reached out in 5 months and in 10 months, inquiring about whether they had planned on applying for a permit to bring the structure into compliance. And it's been 2.5 years. It's been sitting there. There's complaints from neighbors that the structure is built over the right of way. The public hazard that this poses is all structures in the floodplain per Kelly have an engineered foundation per the floodplain ordinance per FEMA, have an engineered foundation. And the substandard construction evident in this structure poses a public hazard because during a flood event, it could become dislodged and potentially damage other compliant structures downstream. And as you can see from the picture, it's just on post. If you could zoom up, you could see there's unsupported beam splices. Beams just come together without a post underneath them. It's not at the proper level. It's just that during the next flood event, this thing is going to be down the river. And it's been hanging out there since 2021. They tried their appeal with Kelly. It was denied by the appeal board. The reason why I need a demolition order is the owner is uncooperative with the floodplain and state building code.
And is this new construction? Or new?
So the history is there was a house.
Trying to figure it out because all I see is house wrap with.
I got you. There was a house not too far behind it. They tore it down. They picked the good pieces out of the refuse pile, built this base. As you can see inside of it, they took everything that wasn't rotten from the old house and built a shed on the top of this big platform. And then they proceeded to build all the way around it. It's, you know, Keister is not a shortcut to anywhere, so it's not surprising it got this far in construction before we saw it. But
The flood ordinance also states that if the structure is new or it has been changed from the foundation, that it is required to abide by all new construction requirements, which is raised and elevated and everything else. So,
They'd have to obtain a floodplain permit, elevation permit.
Yeah.
And raise it to 2 foot above that. And, it is a new structure since it was moved from one location to another. It's only materials. It's not, it's substandard foundation, everything like you said. It's not, they didn't start out with a new foundation, but what they started out with was substandard material for a foundation.
the material for the foundation is, it's the technique, the way they built it that was wrong. First of all, it doesn't have the engineered drawing to tell you how to do it to resist the flooding. Second, I mentioned the unsupported beam splices. There is a lot of sawmill lumber being used as structural components. We're talking load-bearing pieces with bark on them. They were not paying attention to detail when they were making these pieces. And it's just needs to go.
Yeah, it was constructed poorly and using like I say, substandard materials. You can't use, sawmill lumber, for structure.
Yes, sir.
It can be used for sheeting or siding. It cannot be used for structure. So,
Anyone here to speak on this property?
nobody. I would make a motion that we approve the demolition of this property and have it raised.
That needs changed. It's
actually, that is Lowell Rose, the commissioner president.
Yeah, I'm Commissioner Edwards.
Should be District 7 dash.
Yeah, ID number should be 7-23L-8. That is the correct heading on that. So we have a motion to continue demolition of the property. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, Steve, go on.
All right, the last one here is 26 DLAP 05, James River Canal Turnpike. After many neighborhood complaints, the property was condemned as a public hazard in October of 2024. There are several campers and outbuildings erected or placed without a permit and are being lived in off and on with no utilities or sewer. The health department recently discovered an outhouse constructed next to the white building in the center of the picture with a trench dug to the creek behind it, which has since been taken off once the health department came out there. The property is within the floodplain, which is where a majority of the refuse is being stored. There's evidence of trash being burnt. The conditions are unsanitary. There are many unlicensed, non-road ready vehicles, parts, and trailers parked and stored in the floodplain. It's a terrible eyesore from the public way of James River Canal Turnpike. The structures and refuse in the floodplain have the potential to become dislodged and damage compliant structures in the floodplain downstream. The reason why I need to ask for a demolition order is the primary occupant is the owner is the primary occupant's stepmother, and neither have shown any initiative to clean up the mess. So You can see from the picture, the pine tree reference on the map versus on the ground. And you can look back in the packet where I originally condemned it in the summertime, the year prior. And you can see why the complaint started coming in then and just how it's gotten worse and worse.
Are all the vehicles still on the property?
This.
When this picture was taken,
Mhm.
yeah, this was just a couple weeks ago.
A lot of people.
Where's that picture?
It's, very nice. It's one back.
Okay.
Is there anyone here to speak on this property?
There's a few people, Kelly, I guess if you want. to
Sir.
call them
Richie
in.
has it.
Gail, I think it's Gail Reed. Is that right? Would you like to speak about the property, sir?
That was a real nice piece of property to start with. Down there with grass, good and smooth, grass and everything on it, nice piece of property. And the first thing they moved in was a camper, I think. And then another camper, I think, and it just kept growing worse and worse as the time went on. And there was a lot of profanity written on the camper. You could read it even going up the road or down the road. And they took that off. It's just a whole lot of trash there everywhere scattered around. And I don't think you can get, I don't know if they call it a junkyard or what. I'm nothing against junkyard or a man trying to make a dollar. But don't do it right there in the community, right in and around among houses. You know, take it out in the country somewhere, you know. And there's no way to build a fence around it, and you can't get a permit, my understanding. The highway department of highway will not issue anybody a junkyard permit. That's my understanding. I don't know. So I don't guess they have a permit. I don't know that. I don't know what permits they have or they don't have, but all I know it's a terrible mess there. And stuff scattered out everywhere, and they got one building there in the center of the lot. I don't know what it is. It's smoke comes out of the chimney there from time to time. I guess maybe they're cooking or whatever. I don't know. And but anyway, it shouldn't have never got to this point. I'll just put it that way. I mean, all the authorities have been notified and come there, and they all seem to think, well, there wasn't no contamination. Well, I fail to believe that. Because that oil and stuff out of vehicles goes somewhere. And I'm sure they're not catching it all in a bucket. It just needs cleaned up. And straightened up, cleaned up there. And the property restored back to presentable condition.
Thank you, Miss Pennington.
Well, we have a bird's eye view. We own two properties right across from the creek. This has been going on since 24. It should not have been gone this far. We had no problem with Stephen's dad when he bought the property. He kept it cut. We all off the fence line and the creek, and he put a garden there. My concerns are health. All the vehicles, there have been 9 vehicles at one time over there. Before I found out that they're only supposed to have 2 jumpers. I have called everybody that has initial after their name to try to get something done. Also, because of the people staying over there would be vagrant people over there. There were 2 over there. I thought it was a dog fight. It was so bad. And I thought, well, then I realized it was humans. And I was going to call 911, but I didn't know what to do, and finally it deceased. We can hear this across to our property. Our property is 2.8 acres, and I cut that field. I cut it every week, and I want things to look nice. We built a pond over there to try to help with the flooding. My other issues are visual. It's terrible. It's awful. Nobody should have to live across the creek and look at this stuff. I walk the field twice every day. There have been, foul language on the campers. That's not appropriate. Everybody has things that they have, accumulate. That's fine, but when it bothers other people and infringes on their rights, that shouldn't happen. That should not happen. With the vehicles over there, I thought maybe it should be enclosed with a fence around it. Well, I got nowhere with that. There have been numerous fires over there. That's fine. I can tell the difference between the wood and this plastic smell. It would start out with the wood smell, and then coming out my back door, I would smell plastic many times. This would be 10 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock at night. I would be up at that time walking my dog, and I would see them. I've even taken pictures and sent them to the DNR guys and trying to get help because the plastic should not be burning. They were stripping vehicles. They have hung multiple vehicles in the pine tree. Okay, I believe in, hillbilly ingenuity, but you can't tell me that they're not fluid over there from the vehicles. I do remember seeing the ditch line that he was mentioning. I saw it trenched to the creek. There have been a lot of lights over there at nighttime, pole lights, 2 lights outside the garage, inside the garage, even a bar light on a vehicle. They would be coming over there late at night, and we would hear them in the house. We could hear the especially when the vehicles were over there. People out there walking with flashlights late at nighttime. I was really thankful in the springtime and summer last summer when the weeds grew, because they grew tall and then I couldn't see all of the stuff over there. They do try to work, but what they're doing is they're letting things accumulate, and it's just beyond what it should be. And we've had put up with this for over 2 years. And I started documenting stuff in September of 2024. I've tried to call everybody. We're trying to get help because it's just not appropriate, and we shouldn't have to look at it. We've worked 40 years. We've lived there over 40 years. We shouldn't have to look at it. And I appreciate any help you can give us. Thank you.
Done. I think it's done. Is that you, Mary Ann? Okay.
Well, the thing is, he doesn't have a job, so he junks. And we have called the EPA, and the EPA has approved and said we are not dumping nothing into the creek. There is wildlife down there. We feed it. And the DNR was like, we're not hunting or shooting anything. And I'm sorry that she has nothing better to do. But, I'm 70. So I do my best. There is one trailer and it's loaded on the back of a truck. There is one vehicle. And that's it. That's it. That's all that's there. And if she's tried to get a hold of everybody, she's never called me. Everybody knows where I live. She said she spoke to my husband. Well, then she must have known him. She would know where he lived. I mean, simple phone call. Talk to me. A simple knock on the door. Talk to me. But to me, it seems like it's a big thing where let's get as many people upset as we can. But I got pictures. That's all that's there. One trailer, it's on. What he does is when older people don't want things, he drags it in there. He strips it down and sells aluminum and baton. Sometimes he gets overwhelmed because a lot of people want stuff moved. But right now, there's nothing there, and we will not put nothing back there when it's all just said and done.
What about all the tires and the trash that's strewn around the property?
I just hauled off.
It's all gone.
For the load of trash. The tires are still there. I'm in the process of getting them all out of it.
And our problem is too, people across the fence like to throw dead chickens and down the hill at us and throw their own garbage.
Deer carcasses.
Deer
all-
carcasses.
All the brush.
Yeah.
Their trash.
So we're dealing with their trash too.
Then they'll yell and say that it's not our property. Clearly it is.
Is anyone living in any of these
No,
structures?
there's nothing there to
No,
live in.
no one's, I mean, I've stayed there overnight, but that's just, me.
Him and his wife getting, his girlfriend getting a fight and he goes and sleeps in the car or truck at the property garden. We call it the garden. There's nobody living there. There's nobody cooking.
Well, yeah, I could, yeah.
Not all on the
I-
fire, but
And, DNR come by, there's been one time that there was something burnt other than brush. And, he gave me a warning and he's come by multiple times and he can tell, he knows that there's not been nothing burnt but brush. So. As for, the outhouse, there was never an outhouse.
it was a joke, for me.
It was, it was a box that we stored shovels in. As for the ditches, yes, I ditched it because it was draining the water off of the property. That way, so they get some money.
It was a
Everybody
joke.
wants to, focus on me, but, she dug a pond. Did she get a permit to dig that pond in the floodplain?
And I wouldn't think that anymore. Water.
Because it specifically states that, something like that, has to have a permit, has to have the, Farmers Corps engineer need to look at it for it. Did she have a permit to dig it, to build that pond?
Stephen,
Anyway, back to the outhouse. I am 70, and if I have to walk up there, the first thing I always say is, geez, son, I need a place to pee. He says, well, we'll put you in an outhouse, as a joke. It was a 4-sided thing with a bucket sitting in it. There was no need for the ditch. It was a joke. I'm sorry the joke didn't go over well. I thought it was hilarious myself. Didn't like the fact that he called me old and had to pee all the time, but there's nothing left on it.
All vehicles have been removed from the property except for
One,
all the campers have been.
can you identify yourself, please?
Drake Dunn, the,
Drake Dunn.
yes, sir, grandson to Marianne. But all campers but one have been removed, all vehicles but one have been removed. The camper that is still there is in the process of either being stripped to be moved. And then, the building that is on the property there, we do have to move it onto the hillside out of the floodplain and to, place a permit for that as well.
Just let you know something. We have received complaints about this property and the trash and everything going on there forever. We have talked with the DNR, DEP, Health Department, everyone to see. And everybody said they don't have a way of forcing the cleanup of this place. If anything's been removed, it's probably been removed just recently. But I was out past that property December, January. I drove up the road. The camper trailer had a stovepipe or a trailer. It was, I don't know if it's this camper or another one, but it was a camper. Had a stovepipe coming out of it. There was smoke coming out of that. And the guy came out on the little makeshift front stoop or porch, got a couple pieces of firewood and went back inside to put it in the stove. So somebody was there. Ma'am, I drove by. Don't shake
I
your head
didn't know
at me.
nothing about that.
Well, that's fine. If you don't know anything about it, that's fine. I'm just telling you what I know. Ma'am, you've had your chance to talk. I'm just talking, I'm telling you what. So I'm not going back and forth. We don't do that here. We give you a chance to talk and then we have our chance to talk.
Okay.
So just don't start that. But, a man came out on the front porch, got some firewood, went back in, I guess, put it in the stove, but they had a stove going, had a stovepipe. There's garbage and trash strewn everywhere. And this piece of property, we've been trying to get it cleaned up for several years now. And, you say there's no other vehicles there now. If you've moved them all out, great. But, I haven't been there in the last month or two. But when I was back the last time, it was still in this condition. When's the last time that you,
A couple weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, was it still
With this picture.
took these pictures 2 weeks?
The front picture on the fax was just a couple weeks ago.
So I was with you a few weeks ago.
That's right.
Okay, so there's still 2 weeks ago, there was still a lot of trash, campers, boxes and buildings, right?
There was. Sorry.
But it's still there. So, I'm not buying it that it's been cleaned up and moved. I'm not buying that. This thing's been an eyesore forever, and it's needed to be cleaned up. So I'll let you guys, make any questions or comments you want to, but then we're gonna make a motion.
Stephen, how many times have you made contact with the property owners and tried to get them to clean it up?
The owner, I think I met her one time on her front porch. And that was aside from her being served the actual condemnation notice, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah. She was served by the sheriff's department, the condemnation notice.
And how long ago was it?
Oh, that was in October of 24. And I don't remember if I met you before. It was probably before that I met you. I knocked on the door. I don't remember, but I've been to the property and met Steve Gunn here half a dozen times.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. It's always stuff in and out, in and out. The Department of Highways does regulate salvage yards. And I stopped by when he was there, and there's little he can do with the nature of how things come in and come out. The next time he comes, there's something with a different VIN number sitting there, and it's hard for him, and and he regulates junked vehicles, not an engine laying here and an axle laying there. So his hands he was in a gray area with what he could do. But it's clearly the property maintenance code is kind of a catch-all for all the gray areas of the other state agencies that don't necessarily have the legal framework to act on something like this.
Okay.
Anybody else? What do you got?
I think he was on the list to speak to.
Go ahead.
I don't see.
Like, I have been cleaning everything up, and I have not brought any more vehicles in. The winter time, it slowed me down. I'm just asking for a little bit more time. It will be cleaned up. It has been. I haven't been bringing anything else in.
Is this how you make a living?
Yes, sir.
Would it be possible to build a fence around this area? Would that, let me ask the back
Floodplain.
row folks.
It's floodway.
Floodway.
It is
Yeah,
floodway, so you
floodways,
cannot put a fence around it.
That's why, I'm like.
0% rise, no impact is requirements. It does not give many options whatsoever.
That's why, I'm cleaning everything.
The original structure that was there many, many years ago before Mr. Dunn owned it was flooded out and demolished after a flood. And then I believe he purchased it maybe from a tax sale after it was already cleared.
Double wide was in there and, people lived there and they were flooded.
716 flood.
Yes. Yes.
According to the floodplain ordinance, there's no way that he can operate the type of business that he's doing on
No,
this piece of property.
not on that.
I purchased another piece of property out of town, and that's been working on moving everything from there to there. And like I said, just ask for time. It's just me. I'm only one person.
I would suggest a fence on that property, just help you get along with your neighbors.
This is right.
On the new.
No, he's talking about the other.
The other property, I have no neighbors.
he did apply for a permit for the one structure in the middle, and I denied that because it needs a H&H study and an elevation certificate and a certified foundation and many other things to make it,
To the floodway,
yes.
not floodplain.
There's, the majority of the lot is floodway. There's floodplain also on the property, a good portion of it too.
And explain to them the difference between those two.
Floodplain has the chance of flooding. Floodway is the main channel. So that is when it actually decides to flow. It is the most aggressive and direct path of the water. So that is where this is such a horrendous amount of debris that could be dislodged other places and cause impact to other people, because if it would get up to flood, it will become the main channel and it will move faster and deeper.
There are more restrictions
Yes.
in the floodway than there are the floodplain.
Right.
It's not if.
They do
it
not
floods,
like me
It's
to,
when it floods again.
right,
Yeah.
they do not like us to permit anything in the floodway. And if you do, it has to have strict engineering and everything done to it. And it has a lot of different mechanisms, and FEMA has to be involved with it.
Well, I'm sympathetic, to you because you are trying to work and make a living. And there's, nothing wrong with the salvage business. It's an important part of our economy. But the fact that it's in a floodway, it needs to be cleaned up.
Give us
I agree.
30 days and it'll be all cleaned up.
As for the structure, it is in the floodway, but from what I've seen from surveys available online, the upper parcel to that lot is out of flood. What was the distinction again?
Floodplain, but when one portion of the property is in, it is considered all in. So it's the property owner's responsibility to provide us with a site survey by an engineer that shows that the structure is being placed where it's not in that. Because you can't just simply turn off the water.
There's 3 lots. There's 3 individual lots here.
Right.
Yeah.
But you would have to get an engineer involved,
Three
and
up on the hillside
and
and 1 and 2 down.
so. I mean, it would require a permit and it would require an engineer, unfortunately. Well, yes, because one portion of the property is in, it's all in.
Okay, there's 3 lots.
I'm looking at it right now, and they're
There's three
all
different
having a little bit on them. They all have a little bit of floodplain on them. Unfortunately, that's just, I mean, I've got it up right now on the map.
Every post.
That would mean her whole house is in a
30 days will
flood
save
zone.
us some
It
money.
Oh, yeah, hers
It's
is.
flood insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it keeps going up.
Did you get an engineer to fix it?
You pay the flood insurance.
We fixed our
So
house
there
after.
are things that are what is considered pre-firm, and there is things that are called post-firm. So I would almost be willing to bet that her house was built way before the 1980s, which means it was pre-firm. We joined the firm in Greenberg County in 1988. And so everything after 88 had to go for those rules that FEMA requires. So everything that's kind of grandfathered in is what her house would be. Now, I'm assuming her house is probably right there between city and county, because I'm not familiar with your house. So I'm gonna say it's probably more city.
So
Than
according
anything.
to the
So-
ordinance, that anything done to the land, property, or anything like that has to have permit or so forth, so on.
Any man-made change is supposed to have permitting.
Well,
Yes.
what about the garden?
Technically, but I don't usually require
Yeah,
anybody for a
yeah.
garden.
You
But
can't,
yeah.
you can't enforce one part of it and
Right.
not the other.
Well, that,
And
I pitchforkly across, a garden is a garden. You're not really changing anything.
Excuse me, folks. I'm gonna make a motion. I've had enough of, back and forth. I will make a motion that we allow 20 days from today's date to have the property completely cleaned and cleared of all buildings, trash, vehicles, everything cleaned up to your standards. Or you take our contractor in, clean it up. And that we will lien this property because this mess has gone on for a daggone too long.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's my motion. Any comments from the commissioners?
I would just like to add that nothing else is to be put back on it, you know, unless it is properly permitted.
Unless
No
it's
trash or
properly
anything like
permitted,
that.
reason we don't, garden spaces, anything that's just, if you're tilling and planting corn in this field, if you're planting a garden in this field, we would say anything above ground level, such as a structure, it doesn't matter what it is, swing set or anything, you're not supposed to do it in a floodway. But, if nobody else has any comments, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Steve, so they got 20 days. It's from
That's the
today.
11th.
Motion to adjourn at 2:01.
Motion to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank everybody for coming today.
Thank you all.
Give me a second.
Put a lien on that property.
It's went on too long.
Can we?
Unless they clean it up.
Ashley, I've got to end
We
this,
can-
but if you
if-
need
if we
something,
clean it-
we'll
if
get
we
on
clean it
another
up.
one. Just send me another
We put a
email.
lien on it. If they clean it up,